This episode of Android Authority is brought to you by Carbonite. Go to carbonite.com and use the promo code AUTHORITY for a free trial.
Another week, another round of Nexus 5 leaks and rumors, and we're starting to question whether or not they're all as random as we initially thought. Hey, it's Joshua Garber from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And it's time for another dose of the week's top Android news. It's Android Weekly. We start off with a new custom ROM that is now out in the wild. OmniROM was officially announced at the Big Android Barbecue. It brings together elements from a number of well-known developers including Chainfire and Explode Wild. It has its own versions of multi-window and other multitasking abilities, is pretty customizable, and has flippable quick settings. Currently, it will be available for devices like the Nexus 4, the Nexus 7, the Xperia Z, and even the Xperia Tablet Z. Stay tuned for an in-depth look at OmniROM soon, but the release is available for viewing at AndroidAuthority.com. Our next story deals with the new curved screens craze, and deals with LG, whose press render of the G Flex was just released. There isn't a whole lot of information regarding this phone other than its nice curve that goes from top to bottom, but we can't expect it to have the best in current processing power. What we can discern from the press render is that the button layout is probably going to be similar to the one from the LG G2, where all of the buttons were on the back. We're excited to see what features this new phone by LG will bring, especially in comparison to Samsung's own offering, the Galaxy Round. Okay, it's time. Are you ready? Here are all of the Nexus 5 rumors and leaks that came in this past week. In what can only be explained as either a mishap by someone over at the Play Store or a brilliant stroke at fueling the fire, the Nexus 5 was spotted at the Google Play Store for the price of $349. It seems someone hit the publish button a little too early, allowing the internet to screenshot the hell out of the listing and bring us the information that we've been waiting for. It doesn't list the storage option off of the bat, but the placeholder URL does state that this is a 16GB version. This comes after some substantial leaks from people who apparently have had the Nexus 5 in their hands for at least a little while. One gallery shows the phone in the hand, not really revealing too much, but further showing us what the upcoming smartphone will look like. We got a better look at the installed operating system as the folks over at ZDNet put up a gallery of screenshots. One interesting bit is the Easter egg. Press the Android version enough and it will bring up Android in a KitKat-esque logo, though the software is still shown as Keyline Pie. Other features like the cloud printing and the tap and pay ability are also shown in these pictures. And if you were lamenting over the release schedule for the elusive white Nexus 4, you may not have to wait as long when it comes to the Nexus 5. Another leaked shot comes from a Korean site and shows off the Nexus 5 box. It looks pretty much like any other Google box, but on the side you see the phone is in white. And from the looks of it, the white color is only going to be on the back and the front and sides will remain black. But from what we already saw in the box, the phone is already looking pretty damn good. Now the Nexus 5 is definitely not a secret anymore, so the question now is, when are we going to get our hands on it? According to a couple sources, the 16 and 32GB versions of the Nexus 5 will be available by the end of October. This is a very interesting prospect considering there is an event on October 24 that invites have already been sent out for, though we don't know if hardware will actually be shown at that event. It should be no surprise that we're definitely excited to finally get our hands on the Nexus 5, and when that happens, hopefully within the next couple weeks, we'll have all of the coverage of it here on Android Authority, so you stay tuned. Alright, let's move on from the rumors and talk about a device that was at first a rumor but then became truth, the HTC One Max. Yes, essentially it's a mixture of the HTC One and its mini version using the aluminum material but also adopting the white lining. This newly official phone comes in at a very big 5.9 inches and features a fingerprint scanner on the back. Though the back cover is apparently removable, everything in it is replaceable except for the battery, which is fixed. Inside of it, however, is the Snapdragon 600, 2GB of RAM, and an updated Sense 5.5. In the US, the One Max will be on Verizon and Sprint by the end of the year. While our coverage of the One Max is only starting, we do already have a by-the-numbers comparison available at the website. Make sure you head on over to AndroidAuthority.com to check it out and to see the One Max put up against big contenders like the Galaxy Note 3 and even the Oppo N1. Alright, so we're going to end on a somewhat brand new rumor that actually isn't all that new. Rumors are resurfacing that Amazon is working on its own smartphone offering. A report states outright that HTC has partnered up with Amazon to develop a whole new range of devices. Now don't get too excited, as this same report states that Amazon will definitely not have them ready for release this year, or perhaps not at all. it's entirely possible that they will cancel them altogether if the plans happen to fall through. It's an interesting development because HTC is part of the Open Handset Alliance, which basically means they can't fork Android themselves, nor can they support any companies that would do so. And if they did support them, like Amazon, then they could lose access to the Google apps. But anyway, when it comes to this particular smartphone, if for whatever reason you're still not an Amazon Prime member, you may not be able to get your hands on it. Now, Bloomberg is in the mix with these reports, and they state that while the smartphone range is definitely in the works, it will only be sold to Prime subscribers. Since the bulk of Amazon's cloud media is made for Prime, some exclusivity could make a little sense. The best case scenario is for users who use the media service, perhaps a subsidy would help make the HTC/Amazon phone even more affordable. So tell us what you think about the supposed Amazon phone in the comments below. And so, there you have it for this edition of Android Weekly. As always, the written companions for each of the stories that we covered on this video are found in the description below. Drop us a like if you like this week's news, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned to Android Authority for all of the best coverage on Android. We have a bunch of weekly shows like Weekly, which you're watching right now, but also Q&A and Google Play Weekly hosted by Joe Hindi, so make sure you check those out. On top of all of that, we have reviews, comparisons, feature-focused videos, and just a ton of great stuff here at the channel. So make sure you stay tuned, because we're your source for all things Android.